Welcome to the second video in our three-part series on the making of our LBX badges. If you missed the first video, you can find it on our LightBurn channel. For this step, we'll show you how we use MillMage and our CNC to design and carve a jig that we'll go on to use in our next video, where we'll use LightBurn to mark individual names on each badge. To understand the goal of this design process, you'll need to know a little bit about that marking process. We'll be mounting the jig to a rotary tool that attaches to a Galvo laser, and setting it up to mark a design, turn a set increment, then mark the design again, and repeat that process until we've finished all our badges. This is called, you guessed it, repeat marking. There are a couple considerations for making a good jig. It needs to be precise and as lightweight as possible. Precise. Each time the rotary turns, the next jig slot must line up perfectly with the marking location. Digital fabrication tools are great for achieving this kind of precision, and using a CNC will allow us exact control over the depth of the pockets we make for our items. Lightweight. The repeat marking process requires a small pause between each turn of the rotating axis, to give the jig time to settle between movements. Heavier and larger jigs will require more settling time. That time adds up when you have hundreds of items to engrave. In this video, we'll show how we designed our jig and set up our CNC operations using several MillMage features, including circular array, offset shapes, auto-use layer, and more. To follow this process for any project, you'll need a chuck-style rotary and a suitable material to carve your jig out of. Make sure it's sturdy enough that it won't sag when placed on the rotary. We use 6mm acrylic. If you have a rotary table, most of this process will be applicable, but you'll need to plan to secure the jig to the table using an alternate method. When you first open MillMage, you'll always see the project setup window, where you'll establish some crucial parameters. For machine, we'll select our big CNC, a 48 by 30 inch machine. We'll set safe clearance to the height at which our router will clear all work holding equipment in our work area, and a lower fast retraction height to save time retracting over the interior of the workpiece, where avoiding work holding equipment won't be an issue. Our material is 805 by 600mm, and it's 6mm thick. Our MillMage workspace will be set to match the dimensions of our material. Last, we'll select lower left for project origin, and top for 0 point. That means before we start the job, we'll jog our router to the corresponding locations on our physical material, and tell it it's at 0 there. Then, everything in our project will output relative to that point, ensuring it's all done on the material and at the right depths. Once we're done with setup, the first step is to measure the teeth of our chuck rotary, and get a rough measurement of the distance between the center of the rotary and one of the teeth. Since the chuck is adjustable, the exact distance isn't crucial. Then, back in MillMage, we'll create a rectangle and match its dimensions to the measurement we just took of the chuck tooth. If you're coming from LightBurn, all the tools you see here will be extremely familiar. Enable the Line tool and hover over the rectangle until you see the cursor change to indicate you're over the exact center. Click and drag out a line that matches the measurement you took to the center of the chuck. We'll hold Shift to keep the line perfectly vertical, and watch the status bar to see its length. When it's correct, click again, then press Escape to create the line. Next, enable the Ellipse tool and hover over the bottom of the line, then hold Shift and Control to create a small circle. Holding Shift while creating a shape keeps dimensions uniform, in this case creating a circle, and holding Control creates the shape from the center outward. We can delete the line now, and set the circle to a tool layer. Select the rectangle, then the circle, and open the Circular Array tool. This tool will create copies of our original object in a radial pattern, and we'll be getting a lot of use out of it for this project. We'll set the number of copies to 3, to match the number of teeth on our chuck. There are a few settings to pay attention to here. Make sure Use Last Selected Object Position as Center is enabled. Rotate object copies will rotate the copies, so their orientation relative to the circle is the same as the original. Group results will combine them so they're treated as a single unit if we want to select or move them later. At this stage, we can save the project as a template and reuse it as the center of any jig we ever want to create down the road. To continue creating the jig for this specific project, the next step is to import the badge design. MillMage can import or open LightBurn files, so that makes this step easy. We'll delete everything in the design except for the outline. Position that outline above the top chuck tooth, a little distance off. We want to stay reasonably close in so the jig remains relatively small and lightweight. If you go farther out, you can fit more slots onto the jig, but you'll add a lot of weight, and the rotary will need more time to settle after each movement. It could even slip and lose position. With the outline still selected, select the center circle as well, and use Align Vertical Center to make sure they're perfectly aligned. Then open Circular Array again. Set the copies to the maximum that will fit around the center without overlapping. In this case, that's 5. Then with the outline selected, open the Offset tool. Create an outward offset just large enough that the offsets merge into one outer and one inner shape. Make sure Delete Original Objects is disabled. Ungroup the result, then delete that inner shape. This outer offset will serve as the cut line for our jig, but it's a little bigger than we need, so we're going to select it, then offset it inward by a bit, this time with Delete Original Objects on. Using this offset technique creates a jig that is just large enough to accommodate the items we're marking, and keep our jig sturdy, without leaving too much unused material between the slots that will add unnecessary weight. Next we need to cut a notch out of this design, which will allow us to swiftly remove items from our jig during operation. But we also need to do it in a way that doesn't create any sharp interior corners, because the router won't be able to carve out those areas. We'll drag out 2 guidelines from the ruler at the edge of the workspace, and snap them to 2 curves in the design that we can work off of to create a suitable cutout. Then create a rectangle between the guidelines. Take the rectangle and array it 5 times around the center, then duplicate all copies. Select the outlines, then one set of rectangles, and use Boolean subtract. Then select the outer shape followed by the second set of rectangles, and use subtract again. Our design is now finished, and we can move on to applying operations to our shapes. Unlike in LightBurn, MillMage layers do not by default control the type of operation applied to a shape, but there is an option we can use to enable that behavior, so we're going to set our shapes to layers accordingly. We'll keep the chuck slots on black, set the badge outlines to blue, and the outer contour to red. First, we'll set up the operation that will carve out the jig slots for our badges. Click New Operation in the Operations window, and select Inlay Female from the menu, which is going to tell the router to carve out the entire inner area of the badge outlines, plus a bit more. We'll set the depth to 1/16 inch, the exact thickness of our badge backing pieces. Even though I have MillMage set to metric right now, I can enter 1/16 and include the notation for inches to have MillMage do the conversion for me. Because this is set to Inlay Female rather than a standard pocket, we can set a small allowance that will enlarge the pocketed area. This extra space will allow us to slide our badges in and out of the slots easily, without compromising precision. We'll take the rest of our values from manufacturer recommendations that we save to a tool profile in our tool library. We'll be using a 1/8 inch single flute end mill. And when we select that, our speeds, feeds, step over, and depth per pass values are automatically entered. Manufacturer recommendations are almost always a great starting point, especially for beginners. The last thing we're going to do is enable Auto Use Layer, then select the blue layer. That will mean this operation is applied to any shape set to the blue layer in our project. The standard way to assign operations to shapes is to select the shapes you want to assign, and then click Assign Shapes. That works great in most cases, but coming from LightBurn I find it a little more natural to match my layers to operations. You'll see that when we select the operation, the shapes it's assigned to are highlighted. Next we'll set up a profile operation for the outer contour. Again we'll select the 1/8 inch single flute, and let our saved settings auto-populate several fields. For final depth, we want to cut all the way through. I can enter 6mm to match the thickness, or I can just enter 100%, and MillMage will set it to match the material thickness we entered during project setup. The side option controls whether our toolpath will be along the inside, outside, or centered on the contours of the shape in our project. We'll choose a long line to center it. That will mean half the end mill is outside of the line, and half is to the inside, which will ensure there is no lip between the pocketed areas and the outer cut. For Auto Use Layer, we'll select the red layer. The final thing we need to do is enable tabs for this operation. Enabling tabs will tell the router to skip small sections of the material when it cuts, so the jig will remain attached to our stock throughout the cut. If we didn't have these, it would come loose as the router was cutting the final passes. That would lead to a poor result and, more importantly, is very dangerous. For tab type, we'll choose partial retract, set size to 3mm and height to 2.5. Combined, these settings mean the router will make complete cuts until it reaches 3.5mm depth into our material. Then, each time it reaches a spot we place a tab, it's going to lift, skip 3mm, then re-enter the material and resume cutting. Once we've turned on tabs and created the profile operation, we also need to place them on our shape. Select the outer contour, then click Add Tabs in the Operations window. We're going to let MillMage place these tabs automatically, because we're not concerned about positioning. In some cases where you care about the finish of your project, you can move auto-place tabs or manually apply new ones to find optimal locations. The last operation we're going to set up is for our chuck teeth. We're going to use a dog bone slot operation for this. This is a modified pocketing operation that is going to slightly alter our geometry to compensate for the fact that our bit can't reach the interior corners of these shapes. By selecting Inline, we'll tell the router to carve out a little extra at the corners, a circular area that matches the diameter of our tool. If we didn't do this, we'd end up with rounded corners here, and our chuck teeth wouldn't fit. For depth, we'll use 100% again, and the rest of the values have already been populated from our chosen tool. We'll turn on Auto Use Layer again too, but the black layer is already selected, so we don't need to do anything more. There's one thing we haven't accounted for yet. We actually need 2 jigs, one to mark the fronts of our badges, and another to mark the backs. Thankfully, we've got a really easy solution for that. We can select our entire design, duplicate it, then mirror it. You'll see all of our operations are automatically assigned to those duplicated shapes. We'll load our material into our machine and secure it with clamps. Then we jog the machine to the bottom left corner and to the top of our material, the positions we specified during project setup, and zero it there. We're ready to start the job. After a short and loud wait, our jigs are done. In our next video, we'll show how we completed the final step of our badge creation process, using LightBurn to mark each badge front and back with individual names and custom QR codes. Check that out on our LightBurn channel. Be sure to like and subscribe for more MillMage workshop videos.